Yes, the leadership of ASUU commenced a nationwide strike yesterday, 2-week warning strike to press their demands to the government. And this is after the government have failed to do the needful regarding its demand. And the ASUU president, Prof Chris Piwuna, lamented that despite several meetings and promises, the federal government are yet to address the key issues ranging from their welfare, unpaid salary arrears, and academic allowance, as well as withheld salary during the 2022 industrial action. And the federal government's position is that they have done a lot regarding most of their demands, and they will institute and enforce the no work, no pay policy, which we are going to address critically today. And part of the position of the government is that they've released or disbursed 50 billion naira as part of the earned academic allowance, that is part of the 103 billion naira that was proposed initially. Well, let's take a listen to a representative of ASUU. That's the FCT chairperson, ASUU chairperson in Abuja.
No work, no pay. Come to think about it, are even the professors being paid? You're paying a professor about $350 in 30 days. And when you send the same professor out there on a technical aid, you pay him $2,000 while serving his fatherland, developing our youths, our manpower. Can you really beat your chest and say you are paying that professor? The issue of renegotiation of 2009 has not been done. The issue of paying promotion arrears have not been done. The issue of paying the 25% and 5% salary award 1 year is still there. The issue of the third-party deduction is still there. So which of them have they really handled?
All right, you just heard the spokesperson or the chairperson of the ASUU FCT chapter making the demands or stating clearly that the federal government have not addressed the issues that they have been clamoring for since 2009. Well, let's take a look at this issue one after the other. The government have proposed that there will be a no work, no pay policy. But first, let me ask you, comrade, what do you make of this no work, no pay policy? And NLC and ASUU are saying that it is a policy that is intimidating the right of workers to embark on industrial action. What do you make of it, even though it is in the law?
Good morning, Nigerians and listeners out there once again.
Good morning.
You see, in a situation where I don't want to say, but I will say very closely that when you are in a position of authority and you don't want to be accountable and you don't want to be asked questions, the right questions, you resort to bully. The idea of no work, no pay is an extreme of bully in authority. The reason is this. Let's forget about whether there is a law about no work, no pay. Morally, which I have in a number of times reiterated that all laws of any land, they emanate from moral principles. So as to make sure that orderliness is attained and sustained in every geographical space. And we need to ask ourselves this. So morally, you are not entitled to get paid for work not done. But within the context of this same moral, does it speak of a responsible person holding forth authority of the people, entering into an agreement with parties on behalf of the people and renege on such agreement? Does that person have a moral standpoint to now resort to the idea that if you don't do this, we are going to sanction you? And those you are referring to as not working, who in your own opinion you feel they are not entitled to pay?
Yeah.
Is it that they don't want to be? Is it that they don't want to work, or they are not being allowed to work? So if they are not being allowed to work, the forces and individual behind the reason for which they are not working should be sanctioned, instead of them being sanctioned for not being allowed to work. Now let me situate this within the context.
Okay.
They will tell you that when you obstruct justice in the eye of the law, is close to being a criminal. When you obstruct justice. So now, if to work is good, then anybody who obstructs the process or the flow of work should be treated like a criminal. And in this context, we all know those that are responsible for being clogged in the wheel of the progress of work in Nigeria.
So you're saying this is the federal government?
Anyone, I don't care. Some people even come with the tag of federal government. But they are only delivering the message of themselves. How on earth will you say that requesting for what rightfully belongs to you, even at different times you have conceded to let part of it go?
Yes.
And they are now saying for you to be asking for your right is not good, or they don't want to hear it. It's only a bully that do that. And being a bully, there is no provision for that within the authority of the office. Anyone who claims to be speaking for government is occupying.
This is a 2-week warning strike, and we've seen strike action linger for months. Do you think this policy would actually halt the process of the strike action, or there will be some sort of a roundtable negotiation if it is instilled?
You see, in trade unionism, and disputes, let me say dispute engineering.
Okay.
So that for those that are outside the social science context to also have a feel of what we are talking about.
Okay.
Let's say dispute engineering.
Yeah.
Nothing is cast in stone. It is expected that a roundtable discussion, gentleman agreement, that is, if responsible minds and committed brains have gone into this, is expected to lay this matter to rest. All these crises, industrial crises, not only in the university, not only in the educational sector, but in some other sectors of the Nigeria's economy, they are avoidable. Because as at the time representatives of governments enter into the agreement, they must have weighed all options. Nobody enters an agreement under duress. They don't put gun in their heads. You know the resources available at their disposal, side by side with the justification for the demands of the workers. Now, when you enter into an agreement and at the round table, if it is honorably honored, there will not be need for all this rabble-rousing. But quite unfortunate that in Nigeria, even the politicians who sit to administer the resources of the country, what they tell you before election changes the moment they get to power. And they feel that Nigerians is the macrocosm of the workforce, forgetting that the intervening variable there is the depth of knowledge, particularly when you are dealing with people from research and academic environment. I'm not talking about ASUU alone, but I'm talking about every other stakeholders in research related as well as academic environment. This end allowance, which is one of the very many reasons why they are proceeding on 2 weeks warning strike, cut across all workforce in the university.
True, I agree. NASU and SANU and all that.
NASU, SANU. Now, if that is the issue, then at what point can government safely say that at least we have done what we're supposed to do? When minimum wage was implemented and this what do they call it? This 35,000
wage award
was done. university environment was not captured.
They
said they should be paying from their own internally generated revenue, forgetting that they run on TSC. And that one is also one of the reasons why, even in the university, it is the students who end up bearing the brunt of this. Because when you have shortfall of resources and there are things to take care of, definitely somebody somewhere must pay for it, because there is no free lunch anywhere, not even in Freetown. So somebody somewhere is responsible for whatsoever life of luxury that anybody enjoys anywhere. So they all sit in the comfort of their offices. They only wait until a strike is declared before they will now be running scatter and say, oh, give us 2 weeks, give us 3 weeks, give us 2 weeks.
Comrade, let's look at it this way. Many will posit that this 2009 agreement was agreed or was done in previous administrations, and subsequent administrations, probably due to the fact that they were not privy to that agreement, they might not have the capacity or the know-how or whatever to implement every detail of that agreement. What do you make of that position? And for a situation like this where a previous administration appended to an agreement, and how can subsequent administration carry on with that, weighing the options and all that?
Succeeding administration after that agreement, did they pull down ASUU Rock and build their own ASUU Rock? At state level, did they pull down the state government houses and build their own because they were not part of the deal that put up that structure? It means they are comfortable accepting that they are entitled to inherit the asset,
not the liability.
Not the liability. So if you would want to tell us that you are happy to accept assets, we will also tell you that it doesn't matter how you feel, you also
must
inherit
accept the liability.
Now, coming down to it, what was the exchange rate, the value of Naira as at 2009? What was the budget size in 2009? But today, our budget size run into tens of trillions of Naira. But don't also forget that that agreement and whatsoever Naira implication of the agreement has never grown in terms of the changing value of Naira. The value still, the volume in Naira is still constant.
The volume is constant.
It's constant.
Whereas the value is still...
The value has gone totally. Let's assume that as at 2009, when they enter into agreement, let's say it's about 100,000 Naira is the entitlement of one of the university worker.
Yes.
As at 2009. If that person is to be paid 100,000 Naira today, based on that agreement, do you think
it will be useless? It's
as useless as anything. Then who brought down the value of Naira between 2009 and now? It's not the successive administration. And I also want to commend this administration, because they said that Alausa, the Minister of Education, was able to use his I don't know what they meant by he used his personal influence within the circle of government to bring out 50 billion naira out of about 103 billion naira. And that 103 billion naira we are talking about in earned allowance is, as at the time they put the figure down, as at today, it will not be 103 billion naira. And that is one of the problem about that failure to implement that 2009 agreement. As at 2009, it was not 109 billion, because earned allowance and the university is still running. So in as much as the university is still running, that figure will be building up. And I think about a few months or few years ago, ASUU said, yes, we are ready to let go
of
50%
yes.
of the total money, provided on the condition that you will pay the balance of the 50 once. So, are you saying that ASUU has never sacrificed enough? It's like you are bribing government 50% to get the 50% balance.
All right.
Like promo.
Comrade, let's take a look at another.
Yes, government still fail to do that. And do you know that? Do you now think that such a union would be so happy to portray or to see that such a government in good light? I am not talking about whether it is Tinubu administration, or Buhari administration, or Jonathan administration, or Yar'Adua administration, or Obasanjo administration. That's not what I am saying. Federal government is federal government. Those people who are pushing for the ASUU matter today, were they was it the president of ASUU then? No.
All right. Let's take a look at other matters. The executive of ASUU, they mentioned issues regarding third-party deductions and payment. That's talking about the integrated personnel and payroll information system, whereby the workers are being paid through a particular system that is not designed, according to them, they said it is not designed in Nigeria. It is designed by another entity entirely, and those entities have to also make their own deductions, and it is a system that is that, according to them, it increases corruption, and they've also proposed their own that will be suitable for them. That's the UTAS, the University Transparency and Accountability Solution. But I want you to expand on this and help us understand the significance of UTAS as against IPPIS, because the government is proposing that it should be incorporated, not discarded totally.
You see, the position of ASUU on IPPIS, that's Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System. I have a mixed feeling about their position on it. On one hand, they are wrong to say that it increases, because it was not originally designed to increase. On the other hand, I want to say emphatically that as at the time of the takeoff time of IPPIS, a lot of loopholes were blocked. And there is this saying in Yoruba, as a typical Yoruba boy, they will say, tí àlejò bá pẹ́ nílé, tẹ́rú bá pẹ́ nílé, yóò mọ̀ sí pé alájọ bí. That is, over a period of time, when a stranger gets too familiar, when a slave gets too familiar with the freeborn or the now he would want to be, I don't really know how to put it, but you know, he will arrogate to himself a level of
start claiming bragging rights as a freeborn,
because probably those who know where he was coming from or his generation was coming from, a number of them they've passed on. When IPPIS was introduced, what was the culture before then? The culture was that, I understand the peculiarity of the university and education, another educational institution, but in total, the public service, when IPPIS was introduced, for instance, an agency of government, they run two payroll, that is employees payroll. Let's say on one payroll, with which they will take to Abuja or wherever they take, or CBN, to collect the personnel budget for the year, that is the salary for the employee. They can declare that they have 5 directors, 15 deputy directors, 25 assistant directors. That is what they will use to bring in the money into their account. And then it was permissible for them to run multiple bank accounts in the name of one agency of government.
So the previous system aided corruption.
No, you know, we were coming from a totally analog situation. You go there, you present this, and they will pay you, and the money will be in the coffer of that agency of government.
Okay.
So when you now come back home, you know it is 5 director, 15 deputy, 25 assistant. When you now come home, in the real sense, they have just 2 directors. They have maybe just 5 deputy directors, maybe just 10 assistant director. So they now do what they call redistribution of the money in the real situation of the placement of the employees. They got money for 5 directors, but they have 2 directors. They will pay that 2 directors. So the balance of the 3 directors is at the discretion and at the instance of the chief executive of that organization to play around with.
Okay.
That's why you don't see them. They now become another emperor in the agency of government.
Okay.
But at the introduction of IPPIS, which a number of researches in technology adoption, like technology adoption models, like UTAS and a number of them. This is not this is not academic class. Supported and also provide or give us an insight into how people adopt technology. It is not everybody that will adopt it once and for all. It's not everybody who have the capacity to adopt it.
So okay.
Now they now segment it. Let's say about 5 ministry were onboarded at a time. They check the performance of that ministry with that IPPIS. When it is stabilized, they onboard another 5 or 7. They were doing it gradually in batches until all federal ministries are onboarded. And do you know what happened? That government, you know, at times that was about the time Jonathan mentioned the statement credited to him, but people didn't really quote him completely. When Jonathan said stealing is not corruption, that's former president.
Okay.
Stealing is not corruption. He said opportunity to steal itself is the corruption. Because anybody who want to steal and there is no opportunity to steal, you will think that person is noble and that person is righteous. But the person who doesn't want to steal and is in their need and there is opportunity to steal, the person will be tempted to steal.
So if I get it correctly,
IPPIS now, what it does or what it did then was that it now forced all the chief executive to look for a way to make sure that what they have claimed for XYZ year, budget year, or personnel, they now have to go by every hook and crook. They have to bring in employee
to substantiate those claims.
Now, what does IPPIS did then was that it's now head up providing job at no extra cost to the federal government. At no extra cost to the federal government. Some people got recruited November, December that year, and their appointment letter was reading January that year, because the money with which those chief executives have been playing around, they've been spending and lavishing those money since January that year.
All right, let's wrap up on this.
That is what IPPIS did.
Let's just wrap up on your
now
position concerning it.
On UTAS now is that they said, oh, they didn't trust IPPIS. Nobody can force them to trust.
Yes.
And they said UTAS has been subjected to tests, integrity test. It passed. Then the failure of the government not to embrace UTAS could also be one of the reasons why ASUU should be angry. It's acceptable.
Okay.
It should be one of the reasons why the federal government ASUU should be angry with the federal government. But that IPPIS aided up. But the issue of third party deduction that they are talking about, initially we didn't have that problem. That takes me back to that adage that the system seems to have been so mastered to the point that people now start maneuvering, but not without approvals and releases of circulars from the office of the Accountant General of the Federation. Why would you say agency of government with surplus in their wallet of personnel, they should not pay the promotion arrears of their workers? You now gave those boys behind the system the opportunity now to mop up this money, and they pay. They are doing so terrible thing. Our data of the government employees got sold out to some of these online people who will be hawking loan. They will call you by your name.
All right, comrade.
They will call your number.
We have to go on the commercial break.
Employment of government you are.
And when we come back, we'll continue with this conversation. We have to go on this commercial break, please. You've actually exposed the deficiencies in IPPIS and also the benefits it created. Well, it's left for the government to actually do the needful concerning this payment parameters or payment models that have been created to ensure that there is accountability. We'll be right back. I've got a couple of messages here. Elder Yemi Ashajo says, good morning, and NEdu and our guest. I don't know why this ASUU matter has become a monster that no government has been able to tame. Even when one of theirs, President Jonathan, was there, when we thought he would find a lasting solution to the problem, he couldn't do anything. The MOU that was signed in 2009 and still begging for attention, I think it is becoming spiritual. The government should do what it needs to do, while ASUU should also put what is implementable on the table. At the end of the yes and no between the government and ASUU, it is the students that suffer. Well, I would have expected. Okay, all right. Thank you so much for that contribution. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. I'm John Fasiku.
You're welcome, Mr. John. Go ahead, please.
It is a sad thing that, my regard to the guests in the house.
Good morning, sir.
It is sad that Nigerian case is beyond pardon concerning education. Because I say if the value of education is really appreciated and matters in Nigeria, then there is no state government that will do it this way. And like I said, I was in ABU, and then we have one of my American doctor with us there. He received his letter of promotion and allowances right there in my office. And then we were jubilating, and he said, well, why are you jubilating? He didn't have it. He didn't go for any, he didn't submit any paper. Then they work with his paper. These people have system, and this is what we have been crying about. There's no system in this country. Where do you appoint a vice chancellor to go and be manning election, announcing election results? That's education.
All right.
Like I said, I come of old when he was in US, and then the oddly said, God don't do this. So people at home maybe say, what can anybody do? Is it not correct today?
All right.
It's unfortunate if the graduate is anything to go by with 2009 agreement. What will that person as a professor live up to today?
Thank you so much, Mr. John, for your contribution. This message says, good morning, gentlemen. The truth is that anybody who expects anything meaningful that can better the life of a common man under this government should just perish such expectations. What policy has the Tinubu government put in place to alleviate the sufferings they plunged the people into as a result of their recklessness since its inception? They have demonstrated no compassion whatsoever. All right, Mr. Ben Okorie from Taiwo, thank you so much. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Delegates, my name. I'm calling from Okorie.
You're most welcome, sir.
That no work, no pay. It could be a law, but it's a bad one. Nobody continue to fight a child that has been beaten and is crying. You still continue to fight. You may not even be beating him more, but threatening him. That's not necessary. For former president regime, Buhari or blessed memory did this and it didn't work. How can you say no work, no pay? I mean, in fairness to Tinubu, he has been trying his best since he took over on this labor issue. But this little one, should not allow it to spoil that good he has been doing. He should allow that minister cannot say no work, no pay. No work, no pay where. It's wrong.
All right.
Then coming to IPPIS, by the time Nigeria knew about it, it was then they knew about it. It became in existence where I worked in 2005 during President, I think, Obasanjo regime. And to my greatest surprise, the parastatal I work with, they always send salary around 15th. Then other the needs maybe towards 2029. When they introduced this IPPIS, the salary cost dropped drastically. That's to tell you, some people who are putting, some people who are not working in that salary. So it's a good one. I think ASUU should go along with that. Why they don't want to go along with it is that many lecturers, they lecture in many universities, and they want to be taking money everywhere. So they should all consider. God bless them.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bamdelege, for your contribution. Our time is fast spent. Let's quickly delve into our second conversation.